This is brought to you by Mary O'Sullivan. She is the owner of Encore Executive and Professional Coaching. She's been coming on every month and really enlightening our guests about being happier and healthier. And she actually has a workshop coming up, and it's called From Hassled to Happy. Welcome, Mary.
Hello, Patricia.
Yeah.
So great to be with you.
Yes,
today.
I love this. From Hassle to Happy.
Yes.
So tell us about this. Well, wait a minute. Let me just say it. Let me tell you who this is for. All right.
Yes.
So, folks, if you answer yes to any of these questions, this is for you. Are you done with 80-hour work weeks, living out of a suitcase and neglecting your health? That's question one. Question two. Are you at the top of your profession, but got let go in a merger, acquisition, or management change? Question three, did you fail to see the handwriting on the wall? And question four, are you too young to retire, too old to be promoted, and feeling burnt out and miserable? Okay, so
yes.
those are the four questions.
Yes. So if you've answered yes or maybe to any of those questions, then you need to be at this half-day workshop. Then this is just for you. It's perfect for you. So if you're really kind of struggling at work, struggling with your health, struggling with relationships, and your overall happiness is at stake, we need to talk. And I'll tell you why I bring that up. I got a very interesting phone call yesterday, Patricia, from a woman who's a mother. She's in her 50s, and she called me and she said, I really want to get to this workshop because I want to bring my daughter. And her daughter's in her 30s. And I said, well, what did you hope for your daughter and yourself to get out of this workshop? And she said, I think it's more important than the money these days, Mary. She said, I think everybody deserves to be happy. And I found that to be very interesting from somebody who just happened to call me out of the blue because she had heard about the workshop. So, we all have our paths to get rid of the hassles in our lives. Most of them are caused by work. They are caused by stress, relationships. But, I like to tell people human beings are a continuum. We cannot compartmentalize what happens at work from what happens at home. So I have a terrific process that I've developed that I'd like to share with people that attend. It's 4 steps. And basically what it's all about is to clarify what you really want and take the positive action to get it. And you and I have spoken about that at great length several different times.
So let's give a little teaser for our listeners. You have a 4-step process to clarify what you really want. Can you tell us one of the steps?
Sure. What I'm going to share with people is how to take small steps to make big changes. And you know how I compare that, Patricia? I know that you and others in your listening audience have been with loved ones in an emergency room for surgery, and you're sitting in that waiting room, and you're not allowed in, and you're watching that clock, and that minute hand just never seems to want to go anyplace. But you know what? It will circulate around that clock, and it will advance the minute hand and the second hand, and eventually the hours will pass by. So I like to equate change with that minute hand or the second hand on the clock.
All right, Mary, I'd like to give an example for listeners. I can certainly give one because I've done some work with you. I mean, we're colleagues, but you've given me, just some suggestions that have really turned things around for me, things I didn't think of that were in front of me.
Right.
And I'll give an example, but I'd like you to give one from other people that you've worked with. For me, it was giving a workshop on an area that is really my competency. And I've been giving workshops on all these other areas, but this is just a main one for me. And you asked me the question, how come you're not doing that?
Yeah.
And the answer, when I really thought about it, and I should know this, but should we know it? That's the thing. We're so close to it, is that because it was so close to me, it felt like I was bragging about what I do.
Exactly.
And what I realized is that the information is not about me. It's about how this particular thing can really help you grow. And I've been giving these workshops now, and they're very well received.
Right.
But I had to change my thinking.
Exactly.
And I couldn't do it on my own, which I'm surprised about because this is what I do. But
Patricia, you make a very, very good point. I mean, you're a colleague of mine, and you're extremely professional, well-known, an icon, and yet you were willing to ask for help. And I think that that's the point right there. People are so busy, they're on that hamster wheel, and they can't see their way off it. They just keep going one foot in front of the next.
Or they think they should know. We think we should know. And if we haven't thought of it, well, we think that's okay. But we don't realize we're not seeing all the pieces.
Exactly.
And it's like anything, Mary. I mean, you look at these very famous athletes or famous performers, they have coaches.
Right. The people that make it big are the people that all have coaches.
Yeah, we should also talk about the money piece here, because here's what I hear. And you'll hear, oh, I can't afford it. I'm sorry. I'm growing my business. I'm in between jobs.
Yep.
I can't afford it. Well, you know what? Maybe you can't afford not to, because you might not get that next job, or you might not get that next client in the time that you need to.
Exactly. And it's interesting that you bring that up, because my analogy to that, when I talk to people about coaching and right away the money issue comes up, what I like to tell them is that let's think about what would happen today if you went home and all of a sudden that flat screen TV that you just spent $2,000 on somehow fell off the wall and broke. How fast would you be at Best Buy with your credit card, right? Would you think about it twice? Usually the people say, oh, no, I'd go right out and buy a new TV set. So what's more important, your own personal clarity, your own personal growth, or a television? You can get a small TV. It doesn't have to be $2,000, but it's the mindset. You know what I'm saying? And here's an example of something that I was talking about with a client of mine, and this is just a famous example. This happens to talk about narrow vision, right, which is what you were talking about, really. This is a professional woman, an engineer. She has 2 kids, very stressed out at work. There was an industrial accident that affected her, but she felt like she just had to keep gutting it out and pushing on and pushing on and pushing on, and she was really hanging on by her fingernails. So we started to talk about things that she could possibly do to improve her situation. So we went through her day, and I said to her, so, what is taking so much of your time? And she said, well, I have to cut the grass. And I said, so what other options are there for cutting the grass? She said, well, I guess I could hire a lawn service. And I said, yes, that might be a step in the right direction. And that freed up like 2 hours a week for her to go to the beach, to do paddle boarding, to do things that were more important for her.
Why didn't she think of that, do you think, Mary?
Because she was in that mindset of one foot in front of the other. I have to get it done. A lot of people cannot prioritize what's important. What I find is that people think everything's equally as important.
Right. Well, but it's also evaluating too the money. So for example, what is that money that she's spending with getting the lawnmower or getting the grass cut versus the enjoyment that she's going to get from doing the things she loves.
Exactly.
And how much will that help her?
The trade-off was so worth it to her because she gained peace of mind. She was also worried about ticks. So in the case of keeping the lawn cut, hiring somebody took that worry away from her because she was not exposed to the ticks, and the lawn was kept short.
Right.
So there was another benefit right there. So not only did she gain that couple of extra hours a week where she could go paddleboarding out on the lake someplace, but she also relieved herself of the worry of ticks. So those are just some of the small things that we're going to get into in this workshop. And it sounds small, but it can be really, really big.
You're talking about people changing their beliefs and their mindset. Yes. That's really what you're talking about.
But,
and I also think, Mary, let me just say, I also think that people confuse self-care with selfishness.
Yes.
Oh, I've gotten this. When I've talked about it, you're going for massage and coaching and acupuncture and you need all that, huh?
Yes. 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 It's called Taking Care of Oneself. And I'll tell you why it's so important and why people need to pay more attention to this. It's because if you are not taking care of yourself,
right, you won't perform as well.
You cannot move on and
right.
take care of anybody else.
Right.
What good is a mom who's so stressed out because she's cutting the lawn, she's cooking the dinner, she's working all day long, she's getting up at 6 in the morning to drive her kids to baseball practice? What is her time like at the end of the day? What is her body like at the end of the day? She's a disaster. And that's how they end up in desperation in my office. And my message to everybody to get you to the workshop is don't wait until things get that crazy. Mm-hmm. Don't wait for a catastrophe to happen. Mm-hmm. Don't wait until you're laid off. This happens so often with my clients that lose their jobs. I ask them, had you seen the handwriting on their wall? Were there signs? And they always say, yes. Mm-hmm. I saw the handwriting on the wall, but I didn't want to read it.
She is giving a one-day, half-day workshop Saturday, October 1st. I'm going to attend. It's called From Hassle to Happy, and I'm actually going to be part of that. Talk about some of the people who will be part of the workshop and what they're going to get in addition to learning these 4 steps for change.
This is very exciting. First of all, I want to mention that we are not going to serve the normal convention food of chips and, kind of junk food. We're going all out for excellent food because this is all about you and taking care of yourself. But I have some wonderful, wonderful guest speakers. I have a wardrobe consultant, that's Galen App, that's going to be there. I have an etiquette specialist, Janet Parnes. I have an interviewing expert coming in. I have a financial planner. I have chair massage going on all day long for no charge. She's going to be in the back of the room happily giving massages to anybody who wants one all day, and she's also going to conduct a mindfulness exercise so that we get to sort of relax and stop that churning in the mind that makes people crazy. It's not just the crazy physical activity of one foot in front of the next and going. It's also the mental mind churning that really, really hangs people up. So we're going to learn some mindfulness as well as hearing from our experts. And Patricia's going to talk about confidence building and networking as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be
so
there.
Exciting. I'm trying to get a chef. She won't be allowed to actually cook anything for us because of the hotel, but she's going to be available to give out some coupons. She cooks food either in your home or delivers it to you. Mm-hmm. So that's very, very exciting. So I think it's just going to be amazing, an amazing, amazing day. And
actually, it really is. It really is. If you look at the title of the workshop, it really defines it well, From Hassled to Happy.
Exactly. And also I'm asking everybody to bring some canned goods. We're going to benefit the Rhode Island Community Food Bank. They're going to have a box there. And everybody who donates to the food bank will be entered into a drawing for some exciting prizes. We have a gift basket from Mary Kay. We have a gift basket from Beauty Counter that's going to be provided. We have a $25 gift certificate for Whole Foods, and we also have a $50 gift certificate for electrology services, if anybody is looking into that. And I highly recommend. I'm a big fan of electrology.
Right. So these are all, what Mary's mentioning right now, are different door prizes that she will have at this workshop. So this will be on Saturday, October 1st. It's a special half-day workshop. It's called From Hassle to Happy. And again, she's really going to share with you a 4-step process to clarify what you really want and actions to get it. And you'll learn how to take small steps to make big changes. This half hour is brought to you by Mary O'Sullivan, and she is an executive coach, and her company is Encore Executive and Professional Coaching. And Mary is on the program with me right now, and she's a certified executive and professional coach with 30 years of experience in large Fortune 500 corporations, including GE, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon. And she's having a special half-day workshop on Saturday, October 1st, and I'm going to be part of it as well. And it's called From Hassled to Happy.
Right.
And so for anybody who just feels burned out in some way or not satisfied, this is a great workshop. Is this just for women or women and men?
No, it's for men and women, and I do have some men that are attending. I have actually quite a few, not as many as the women, but men get burned out as well, and men realize that they have to take care of themselves. Because men get overburdened and they have a lot more health problems.
Right,
earlier.
and when Galen Apt, the fashion consultant, talks about fashion, she'll also be speaking to the men as well.
Yes, and she does do men's fashion as well, because I think you and I both have a mutual friend who's been dolled up by Galen. She does. She is very good with men's fashion as well.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to mention was that one of the things that people get stuck on, and we're going to talk about this also, is how to tell what you can and cannot control about your situation. Mm-hmm. And that's also very important, that change, people need to understand that change has to have three components. It has to be under your control, it has to be realistic, and it has to be sustainable over time. Right. So what I'm going to do is talk to people about that, and I'm going to put a package together that everybody's going to get, and everyone will fill that out for themselves with my help, and we're going to walk out with a real plan, with accountability and commitments and schedule all included in that. Yeah, so it's going to be a really, really great day.
It is, and one of the things I think where people get stuck, and I'm speaking for myself as well, I think what happens is that you try things, and you have these steps, and you're trying, and it's not working according to plan, or it's not working as fast as you want it to.
Right.
And then you get discouraged, and then you say, well, maybe I should go to the left, maybe I should go to the right, and maybe you just have to keep going straight and just give it more time. But that's where I think coaching helps, because, you know, when you get down, it's hard sometimes to make that 10th phone call or to try that thing once again. Maybe you need to try it differently. Maybe you need to talk to someone else.
Yes, and that's really the basis of all coaching, is exploration and experimentation. Without trying things, you don't know if it's going to work or not. And you know what? If you try something and it doesn't work, try something else. You're not a failure. Right. You know, people get that feeling of failure so easily, and it bogs them down.
And so stay away from the naysayers. And that definitely won't work.
Right.
Oh, you know, people, whatever.
That's not good. That is not good for people. So, again, I would like to make sure everybody knows that you're all welcome to come, men and women. We're going to have great food, great guests. And, Patricia, I want to announce, especially for you and your guests, that we are going to have a special promo code. Now, when you click on the ticket link on Eventbrite, it's on eventbrite.com, from Hassle to Happy on October 1st. Click on the green ticket box, and the promo code is in the upper right-hand corner. If you type in capital RASKIN 2016, you will get a $100 discount off the regular ticket price. Okay. So that's one day only for Patricia's listeners. It's going to be good for 24 hours. Right. So make sure you get in there and register and sign up today. And it's going to be a great day. You're going to see me, you're going to see Patricia and all our guests, and be treated to wonderful food.
And meet great people.
And that's the other component. Get there at 8:30 in the morning, and we're going to have a half an hour of networking over our breakfast and coffee. We're going to have another coffee break around 10:30, and that's another networking opportunity. And then from 1 to 1:30, we're going to have more networking.
And you'll have lunch at noon.
And we're going to have a snack break, because we're having such a big breakfast that I don't think anybody's going to be hungry for lunch. So I'm having a really nice snack break of hummus and veggies and beverages around 11:30ish.
Okay, and it's from 8:30 to 1.
8:30 to 1:30.
8:30 to 1:30. All right.
Yeah.
Mary, this is terrific. Okay, what would you like to leave our listeners with today? What is your message?
So my message is that don't wait. Don't contemplate. Don't canoodle about it or noodle over it. Just do it. You know, this is an opportunity for you to make that big step into the change that you want. It's a first step. Nobody's going to ask you to stop doing anything that you don't want to stop doing. Nobody's going to ask you to make you do anything you don't want to do. However, if you feel that things are just not working for you as you might have thought, this is the time to get what you deserve.
Mm-hmm. Also, you offer complimentary consultations to people.
Exactly. And
so if you're listening to the show, please log on to Mary's website and give her a call. So the website is EncoreExecutiveCoaching.com, correct?
Exactly right. And don't forget the discount code for Patricia's listeners
is Raskin,
2000, all caps, 2016.
Okay.
And anybody who's a listener to Patricia will get a 30-minute complimentary coaching session.
And again, for her number, Mary's number at Encore Executive Coaching is 401-742-1965.
Exactly.
742-1965. So take advantage. Take advantage of the half-hour complimentary session. You'll be amazed at what you get. Really,
right.
It's terrific. Mary zeroes right in, no nonsense, and and if it feels uncomfortable, that probably means you have to do it.
Well,
I found that.
My goal is to poke at people's belief system. It can be a little uncomfortable, but
it works.
I don't harass people.
You're the
crazy.
best, Mary. Thank you so
Patricia.
much. Thanks.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.